are joining us on live stream so I can give them instructions. As soon as I'm done speaking, they're going to walk in the room, so that's kind of how it's. So if you want to be ready, I really don't like being on camera, so they're going to be coming from that room, or from outside the room. All right, ladies and gentlemen who are joining us from Green Bay or on our live stream from anywhere in Wisconsin, my name is Jason Baum, and I'm the Director of Communications for Disparti Law Group. I want to introduce you to today's press conference and the process and procedure of what's going to happen today. Today we're going to start out, we're going to have Larry Disparti, who is the founder of Disparti Law Group, who will speak first, followed by Cass Casper. Cass Casper is the lead counsel on the case. His name is C-A-S-S, Casper, C-A-S-P-E-R. He's lead counsel. And then followed by that, we're going to open up the floor to questions. We have two victims with us today, and they are available for questions. If you're joining us on the live stream, there is a box below the YouTube screen where you can ask questions. It's a kind of a one-way thing where you can just send us a question, and someone from the room will ask the questions to either one of the attorneys or to one of the victims. If you have any other questions, my contact information is on that website. Feel free to give me a call or email, and I can connect you with one of the attorneys if need to be. All right, I'm going to introduce Larry Disparti in just a second.
Good morning. My name is Larry Disparti, and we are here today to announce that we have filed a federal lawsuit, a federal civil rights lawsuit on behalf of three brave young women who, as students of Oconto Falls High School, were groomed and sexually abused by teachers and coaches, people whom they were entrusted with. But this case is not just about the individual abusers, it's about a school district that allowed these activities to go on, even though there was multiple years of reporting and the warning signs, and yet they failed to act. What these women discovered in 2025 was not just an isolated incident, but a deeply disturbing pattern of teacher-student sexual abuse that happened over decades. As we allege in our lawsuit, this school board, its deliberate indifference, created and protected an environment and culture where predators had access to children, and these students were left unprotected, unheard, and alone. These women are coming forward now, not only to seek justice for the harm that was caused to them, but also to expose the institutional failures that allowed the abuse to continue and to demand meaningful change so no other students have to endure what they did. Schools are supposed to protect children, not the conditions in which they allow abuse to happen. And so today, we're announcing this lawsuit, and I want to turn this over to lead counsel, Cass Casper, to give you more details on it.
Thank you, Larry. Thank you, members of the media, for being here today and hearing the story of these three brave women who have allowed us to file this civil rights lawsuit on their behalf. My name is Cass Casper. I'm lead counsel on this case. I will be prosecuting this litigation in the Eastern District of Wisconsin Federal Court. Our lawsuit has three plaintiffs: Grace Williams, who's present to my right, Amanda Watzka, who's present to my left, and Brooke LeCount, who cannot be here today. These three brave young women have come forward with these claims because they want to solve an institutional problem. They want to stop the culture where sex abusers, groomers, other school staff who think it's okay to engage in sexualized conduct and grooming towards students is allowed to flourish. The goal of this lawsuit is to cause a cultural change, both at Oconto Falls High School, where this happened, and hopefully throughout the region. Again, our clients are Amanda Watzka, Brooke LeCount, and Grace Williams. These three women are from Oconto Falls, Wisconsin. All three of them endured sexual grooming and abuse by teachers and coaches while they were minors enrolled in this district's schools. Amanda was assaulted by her tech education teacher, David Heisel, over the course of 3 years, beginning when she was just 16 years old and continuing until she was 18 years old. Brooke LeCount was groomed and abused by assistant volleyball coach Bryn Marie Larson when she was 15 years old. Shockingly, Grace Williams was also abused by Bryn Marie Larson in the year 2018, when Grace was a senior at Oconto Falls High School. At the time Grace was abused by Bryn Marie Larson, the district already had notice that Bryn Marie Larson presented a problem, presented a risk of sex abuse to children. Yet, Bryn Marie Larson was working at Oconto Falls still in 2018 after abusing Brooke so she could victimize Grace. Three women are plaintiffs in this suit, two perpetrators I just discussed. And we have a school district as the defendant that was warned repeatedly, had warning signs all over the campus, which are detailed further in the complaint, and looked the other way every single time to the detriment of these young women. But Amanda, Brooke, and Grace, the plaintiffs, are not the full picture here. Through our investigation over the past approximately 8 months, we have identified at least 9 teachers, and staff members who engaged in sexual abuse, grooming, or severe sexualized misconduct with other students at Oconto Falls. Of those other students, we have identified at least 14 known victims over an approximate 20-year period from 2005 to 2025. 20 years, folks, that children sat in these classrooms, trusted the adults around them, and were failed by every single person in a position to protect them while at that school. This was not a secret. As outlined in the complaint, teachers saw Amanda spending hours and hours alone with Heisel, being given special attention by Heisel, Heisel accompanying her, Heisel paying special attention to her, showering her with special benefits, as all is outlined in the complaint. A fellow teacher received Amanda's own senior paper describing her pain relative to another teacher and did nothing. With respect to Brooke LeCount, we know there was an athletic director, Jerry Moynihan, who received direct complaints about the abuser, Bryn's, conduct towards Brooke and students. Still, the school did nothing. Bryn Marie Larson was given a mere coaching session by the athletic director to, follow appropriate boundaries with students. And Bryn continued working there, continued abusing Brooke, and later in 2018, when she was back at the district, abused Grace. We see a pattern here. Outlined in our complaint, we have a chart that outlines the 14 different victims. We have not named them. We've used their initials. We have spoken with all of them. All of them are willing to help and participate in this case, to provide evidence of the similar experiences or like experiences that they underwent by either the same or different teachers at Oconto Falls from 2005 to 2025. Recently, we are aware that in December 2025, one of the teachers was arrested, Gail Gander, and charged with various crimes relating to abuse of 5 children at Oconto Falls High School. Folks, we have other witnesses who have come forward and told us about Gander's issues going back to 2005. We hope to delve into that further in this lawsuit, but the overall picture here is that this was a school that had unwritten policies, customs, and practices that enabled sex abuse and grooming and sexualized conduct towards students to flourish. The culture, the environment enabled this conduct, tacitly at least condoned this conduct by teachers. Despite warning sign after warning sign, victim Amanda Watska, victim Brooke LeCount, victim Grace Williams, victims the other 14 outlined in the complaint. By the way, we think there were more. So our lawsuit has been filed this morning. It states counts for Title IX violations, and it also states a civil rights constitutional violation in the last count of the lawsuit. You can read them. I want to anticipate something I know is going to be asked. Folks are going to ask, why now? And the answer is the plaintiffs became aware during the prior months for the first time of the rampant sex abuse and grooming going on at the school they attended in their earlier years. Under our laws, under our cases, when the plaintiffs become aware of the cause of their injuries, of the institutional failings that led to their injuries, they are allowed to bring a suit. Over the course of this past fall, as Amanda and Grace and Brooke were dealing with the emotional repercussions of what happened to them as younger women, as minors when they were in school in the care of trusted adults, social media enabled them to come together, to meet each other and learn about each other for the first time, to hear each other's stories for the first time. It led to them asking more questions. It led to them making public posts asking if there were other victims. Folks, this blew this open. As I said, that social media activity this past fall, later summer, revealed the massive extent of the abuse and grooming that had been going on at that school. So, I'll wrap up here and then we can take questions. Our clients are seeking compensation for the real and lasting emotional harm that they've suffered, the trauma, the lost opportunities, the self-doubt, the inability to trust adults. They're seeking compensation for those harms. More than that, though, they want to send a message that this kind of conduct must stop in our school systems. It must stop in our region. It must stop in the Midwest. They're asking that new policies be passed that require much more extensive training of teachers about what the warning signs are of grooming and abuse, that require mandatory reporting requirements on mere suspicion of abuse, that require punishment for people who cross boundaries. We have a whole laundry list of policy changes that we hope to engage the public and other stakeholders with to help rectify the situation, not just for Amanda, Grace, and Brooke, but for all children in our region, in the Midwest, in Wisconsin, in Illinois, who are dealing with this problem. It must stop. We are hoping, and we are in discussions with legislators also, to get on board with some further changes to protect our kids in schools, to prevent this kind of tragedy from happening any further to children. Finally, I'll wrap up with this. To anyone else who may have been a part of this tragic pattern, whether at Oconto Falls High School or in other states or in other area school districts in our region, we're asking you to come forward. Let's blow this open. This is a reckoning for this problem. It's got to stop, and these women have stepped forward to carry the load to make it stop. All right, the suit's been filed. We're waiting on a judge assignment and a first court date. Once I have the paperwork, the summons back from the court, we will send it out for service on Oconto Falls, and we'll keep you further updated as we go forward. Thank you very much. Questions?
So Gail Decker was arrested and fired. What about the status of these other teachers? Are they still with the district?
We are aware of some of them are still employed as teachers, and I'm not going to provide more information about that right now. But we're generally aware of where these folks are. Some of them are still teachers, some of them are not. Other questions?
I have a question for
Yes.
either plaintiff. I just wanted to ask, are they, could I ask a question?
Depends on the question.
I just wanted to
Yeah.
ask, first, how are you guys? This is, I'm sure, very intimidating and a very difficult situation. But what does it mean that you guys were able to share your story and hopefully help other men and women going through similar issues at the district?
Are either of you comfortable talking about that? Go ahead. You can do it.
I feel like we just began to share our stories. We're not even completely there yet. My personal abuser has not been held accountable at all at this point, and we're over a year from me coming forward. So it's been an ongoing cause of just hurt and pain. And so coming forward, having the voice to do so and the means to do so and the support to do so is important, because not everybody has that opportunity that is in the same position that we are in.
How much strength is this taking you to talk in front of 5, 6 cameras, a handful of people over live stream? Is this, talk about how difficult this must be and how much courage you have.
It's got to stop, right? So it takes somebody to have the courage to step up and stop it. Otherwise, it's going to continue for another 20 years. And then other plaintiffs will be in their motherhood or their later years and uncover the trauma that they experienced in their earlier years. And I just want to prevent that as much as possible, because it has impacted my life greatly.
Thanks. Other questions?
I have some questions from the live stream. This is from the Green Bay Press Gazette. The lawsuit names 3 teachers or staff members and refers to 5 more by letter, but the suit states 9 teachers and staff engaged in sexual abuse, grooming, harassment, severe misconduct. Can you explain the difference in those numbers?
There's not everybody in the chart that we're aware of, and that's for litigation reasons that we have to hold further information on at this time.
Do you plan on filing legal action against any or all of the teachers involved?
Okay, that question, I anticipated that. We want to focus on the institutional problem in this case, because it's the institution that enabled this. We had considered naming individuals, and at this time we want to keep the core laser focus on fixing the institution's problems. That's why we've named the institution right now.
Do you have examples of the unwritten policies the board and district relied on?
They're all listed. They're all listed in the complaint. The complaint tells a whole story that you can fill in as a base for that question. I would say the entire complaint is about that.
One more question, sorry. How many more victims do you believe there to be?
There's the ones listed in the complaint. There's one that is scheduled to call with me today, later today, and we expect others are going to come forward. Okay. All right, folks, if there's no further questions, that's it. Thank you all for attending.